while I have good access to this area here, what I've done is I've removed these brackets. These are an interesting bracket because a lot of the Ferguson 20s and the 35s came with brackets without this bit on the back, just this bit. And you put your stabilizer bracket on, that would have ran alongside this lift arm and onto whatever implement you were using. I don't really use them because I make sure that the check chains are on. I don't know, was this for a mid-mounted mower? These would have been sitting this way. So, or were they loader brackets? This tractor, I'd be very surprised if this tractor was used with a loader. Now, the only extra hydraulic connection is that there, and I'm fairly sure most of the time that's just a tipper. That's not to say that it couldn't be used for a loader there. It could, if you had the in-out valve to divert the oil from the lift to there. We have one of them on the 135 at home. We have a loader on the 135. But I took them off. I don't need them, and I way prefer the nice round axle look. It's just another little thing. If they were functional, I'd say, yeah, leave them on. I don't use stabilizer brackets at all. In fact, they were on that Ferguson 20 as well, something similar. I took them off. And then when I had them off, then I just put on some washers underneath them bolts because there were none, and I gave everything a good grease up. They seem to be, I don't know, are they stainless steel? But they're not in the slightest bit rusty. Same with that side. Washers underneath the bolts rather than having the bolts turning against the paint, and I just smeared a bit of grease along any of those places there where muck can go down and then get wet and then cause corrosion. And I gave it a quick blast out with the air gun. So still waiting on my brake parts to come, the springs and the retainer clips and all of that. I'll be able to put it back, just up the brakes, and then take a first spin and do the final adjustments. So apart from that, I'm still very happy with the work that was done on the bearings. You know, things seem to be a lot snugger, we'll say. I won't say tighter, we'll use the word snugger. So time will tell when it comes to that work. So yes, waiting for the brake parts to start giving the coolant to flush. I only ever had water in this because I wasn't sure what work I had, extra work I had to do with the engine. So as you can see, the water's a bit rusty, so gave it a good flushing out, and I'm going to top that up because of the cold weather that's due with a gallon of antifreeze, and then the rest then, if it needs, on top of that will be water, and that'll be plenty strong for keeping the engine free of frost damage. So that's where I'm at. So next video hopefully we'll be putting the brakes back together. The brake parts have arrived and my brake linings. He sent out two. He must have thought there was a box needed for each side, but each box has 4 linings, so that's enough to do the whole set. So my dad is doing up a Massey 135, so they'll do him. So get these opened and get those brake shoes fitted. Now get these fitted. So I've one already fitted there just to hold things in place. So I'm going to put a bit of grease on these because they will move around a bit as the brakes are pressed and released. Seem to wear in the back where they meet there at the back end plate. I think the Ferguson 20 probably has a better setup. Ferguson 20 actually has a bolt coming through here. This is actually the same as the Ferguson 20, and there's a big washer, and it's the brakes slide on that as they're applied and released. I always find 35 and 135 Massey brakes squeak a lot, screech a lot when they're being used. I think it's probably down to this system here. Another quick twist on that. Well, just to get them lined up into the middle. Something like that, I think. That's one. Bit of grease. Never does any harm. Little bit awkward. Okay. I think that looks fairly good. Hands are greasy, so I'll just put this on to get a bit better of a grip. And I think that's what you always hear on these 35 brakes. Bit of movement. So what I'm going to do with this one, just put a bit of grease on there. Put a bit of grease on there. So that's this way. Okay. So I need to get my magnet, because two of them clips has fallen. Falling down behind here. So that's one. Oh, the other one's at the front. So on with that. That goes over it. Push, and it's the twist is the problem. These things are cutting the hands off me. Push and twist. I just can't see what I'm doing. When I do push it, it's hard to twist it. Now, that's a bit better. A bit more of a twist. Now, I think that's lining up there. And this is just about lined up now. Okay, I think that is the way they're meant to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grease in behind this bottom one. I might get away without taking it off. I'll use a screwdriver and put some grease down behind it. Save me taking it off again. Because that's one thing I forgot to do. And when I moved, you can hear that screeching. So I think this might be a little bit too thick to fit in behind. Yeah, it is. So what I'll do is I'll stick in this screwdriver. I have to take it off, it's no big deal. And it's a bit there to come off, but it needs to be greased up as well. maybe, actually that doesn't have the adjuster, but that's no harm. Get that in there. And a bit this side as well down there. That should stop the whole scratchy, screeching sound. Might be a little bit harder to get in there now. I have to take it off, I will. I might take off this one again and put in a bit of grease. Yeah, that'll do it. Plenty of grease there. Learn as you go, I suppose. Slightly different system to the Ferguson 20, as I was saying. Ferguson 20 is held, the brake shoes are held in one place only. Is that camera in focus? There, it's a bit better. Push and twist. Of course you can see what you're doing. You have to just go by feel. Awkward enough. Camera gone. Twist over that. To get everything lined up can be a bit of a job. I line it up roughly, yeah. Again, these things they mightn't look sharp, but I can tell you, maybe I should have a pair of gloves on to get a bit of the grip and still be able to see what I'm doing. I can tell you one thing, they're sharp enough, an edge on them. Okay, I'll come back to you when I have that done. So I'm going to try and use the vice grips here so I can see better what I'm doing. Push in, and the back is actually twisting and I can't really stop it from twisting. That's better, that's what I'll do from now on. Live and learn. That looks good. And that screeching sound is gone because the grease. Now I'm just going to get these turning. Just lined up properly on. Okay. How are we looking? So that's a little bit crooked, so move it in and out a bit, that's okay. I think they give a spare spring. Seems to be 5 springs in this pack. Strange enough. And then this goes on there. Always a good idea to make sure he's tapped in, because it can be hard to get the springs on if it's not. Now what I might do is put on the long spring that holds the 2 brake shoes down. This is all in picture. Okay.